for myself, like I was going so hard on green Monsters every day, large fountain drinks, Dr. Peppers, Coca-Colas, like candies. I did that for 15 years. And hey, cool, I'm, just getting some on sugar. And then I like started running with my kids or something. I'm like, whoa, this is I'm a little winded for what I'm doing here. And I wasn't physically happy with how I felt. And so I started to go to the gym, and then I realized, oh my gosh, this is a life hack. Like I can clear my mind. I can go to the gym in the morning, and I can go in there, and I'm already getting wins, right? Because part of it is like the negative mentality. You want to have wins, so you can fall back on wins. Every morning I wake up early. If I wake up at 3:15, that's a win. If I get to the gym at 4, 4:30, 5, that's a win. On top of that, I push myself physically as hard as I'm going to the rest of the day. So I've already got it out. So whatever comes up, I can go do it. I'm good. Whatever drama or bullshit comes around, I've already done something that's harder than whatever is being presented to my face, most of the time, right? So I go to bed. I like to be in bed at 9:30. If I can't and it's 10:30, it sucks to wake up. Now, I don't know how sustainable having 5 hours of sleep is every single day, but it's worked out so far. And I'm just gonna keep running it until further notice, Because of my brain, my mental capacity is so much better. Like however I look, I don't give a shit. Like it's just how I feel every day mentally. I'm not as like cloudy or congested with bullshit because I just get it out in the morning and then I'm like, oh, we're good. Like, okay, bring it on, let's go.
So if you was somebody that was just like a no-name kind of guy, like how would you go about starting up your business now? Like you gotta start from ground zero.
I can only give you as much information as I know on my own. And I preach Instagram and I preach just having reach, YouTube, anything, right? I don't think, like, websites, phone books, shit, commercials on TV, those are all kind of obsolete. Websites still kind of hit, but I think reach is the biggest thing. Even if you're a nobody, like just present your work, like present yourself to the world however you need to. That's what you need to do. It doesn't matter if you're a no-name or not. It's your work speaks. That's always how it is, right? That's my whole thing. Like sometimes when I'm low or I'm shitty or I always know the one thing I can count on is I can do this. I can present that. And I think even if you're starting, that's all. Just present it, because that's where opportunity will arise. You just have to present it. If you're just festering and holding shit, then how are you ever going to expect something to happen if you're not putting it out there for people to see? So do everything you can for people to see, even if it seems like this guy needs to chill the fuck out. Why is he fucking posting so much? Dude, if it's just a numbers game, and then one person plucks that, and it gets you this job, and then all of a sudden you kill on this job, that job will always bring another job. As long as you're doing your part on it and you're getting success off of it and you're not botching it, using all the money or something, and whatever, all the negative, then every single step you take will give you another step. It's like a root growing, You go to this one spot and then that will go somewhere else, and then it'll go somewhere else. So I think it's just literally about having some kind of reach, and putting yourself out there. That's it.
Okay.
Go for it.
Just to bounce on what he said, I used to work for a jeweler, a French jeweler, and he used to custom make jewelry.
I can see you kind of getting jewelry.
It was
Like with some glasses on? Or the things that flip down, Yeah.
It's a nice one.
Copy that.
He didn't do any advertising or social media, and he used to always preach to me word of mouth. So he created a badass ring, and whoever wore that ring, he'd be like, hey, where'd you get that ring? Oh, Jerry made it.
Yes.
And as soon as they said that, he got another 3 calls. So he was saying the best thing you can do is create a quality product.
That's the thing. So reputation, right? Like that's the whole deal. I have fears right now about reputation too, because I've taken on so much shit. It's hard to just finish one thing. Like the rate at which stuff is getting done now is like, oh my gosh, like it feels like a burn. And I think the word of mouth is huge. I think it piggybacks on everything, but I think that initial getting out there, like even getting that one thing, that one jewelry piece, is just reach, like making someone see it that wants a portion of it. And then absolutely that word of mouth is retaining, because I think word of mouth is really the deficit of that is the negative too. Because the negative with word of mouth will cripple any of your reach. As soon as it's word of mouth, well, I saw what he posted, but I fucking, what about blah, blah, blah? What about this? It turns into that shit, right? Because anybody who even sees your work and they want a job, And they go talk to 5 of their buddies, hey, I'm thinking about having Morgan do this, or blah, well, I heard Morgan this and that, and then word of mouth, right there again. So hand in hand, but I think that has more of a crippling effect too, What's up?
Name Joshua. How hard is it to keep?
Good job on the name. I was gonna let it go because now we're like not as formal. So.
How hard is it to keep the quality work out of your shop, while still trying to expand and hire more employees?
I'm not hiring more employees, and I'm not trying to expand right now. I would like to expand on design consulting and stuff like that, but that is something that never changes, and that's why I'll bite the bullet on what time takes, or what takes more time than not, because that's part of staying on top of stuff, like skimping and cutting corners. And when I give you the reference of going through a process and like trimming fat on some areas, I don't mean cutting corners on stuff. But when in the back of your head, like there was a Ranger I did at H&M, and I knew in the back of I didn't weld all of the C-pillar tubes that go to the frame. I let that truck leave, and I knew in the back of my head, I let the quality of work go. And I've never done stuff like that. And I would never do stuff like that because I can't stand here and talk to you guys unless I have the confidence that I know I don't do that. But I think that's what builds you as your business. What's your business worth? What's it worth? Or is the quality of work, does it go from a 4 to a 10? Does it always just go to a 4 to a 7? Like you have the ability to make things as nice as possible, and your responsibility with that is there to keep it that way. And then the way you win is just to figure out how to do it efficiently, But I think the other thing that comes into notion with this stuff is safety. Like you're not building, and there was the question about streetcars. The things that I noticed were different with streetcars too is they do some hack shit and they don't care. Like the welding procedures and stuff, it's not the same. Like I look like a drift cage. I've seen a couple cars. I'm like, whoa, dude. Okay, like I'm not going in there. You're gonna die if you crash hard. Looks cool, but I think that the quality thing, it has to be retained at all times. I've never known any different. And it's the same, like I don't even like Ryan, but even working at a shop, like same thing, quality, always quality. And it's the reassurance too, because then you know what you're putting out there is gonna save someone's life, or it's gonna prevent further damage in your life by something failing. You do the best you can at all times. What's up? Yep.
What do you think the stepping stones are to getting into chassis work? Where should I start?
What do you mean specifically with chassis work?
Kind of the cults that you do, like Vivian, just taking a CAD and doing everything from the ground up.
Well, that's just getting a build. That's selling a build, right?
Yeah.
And Vivian does have frame rail. Again, like some of our stuff is rehab stuff. Like we take trucks and then we make them really cool based off of like enough foundation to retain something original. But it's really just selling the job. Like it just if you have to move up in the ranks, where you have to, like some people might have to start with just building a bunch of bumpers first, and then someone finally comes down, well, can you maybe do a bed cage? And then you do a bed cage, and then it's like, well, that work will render that opportunity when it's supposed to come. Unless you take the other route and you go, hey, I'm gonna just spend my entire life, everything, income, everything, building this truck, and that truck you're like, I don't have the people to build it, so I'm gonna build it, right? And then you build that vehicle, and that's your portfolio piece, and you can present that to the world. But that's the other way you do it. You're doing it on your own. Like that's how I learned in my garage. I built all that. I built the cage in my Explorer 3 times. I built it the one time, cut that thing off. Again, no, this sucks. Did it again, like in different periods, because I was backtracking on, my progress and where my quality control was and what I thought was high quality, or safe. So the option is you either get a job and you tell that, that client's either there wanting a tube chassis, or you sell a tube chassis, or you sell a frame rail truck that has a chassis on it, or you build it yourself, and that's a great way to do this shit, like if you can, and you have the means, that's because you're also polishing your skill set on your own, not on someone else's dime. And that's a huge thing too. So you get portfolio pieces, you get your own, and I mean if it's your own truck and you're taking it out, then you get to go have fun with it, feel what fails, and go from there. What's up, guys? Yep.
Hey David.
Hey David.
I was just wondering if you've had builds where you showed it to the customer, they finally saw the finished product, and they didn't like something, or they didn't like a back half, or how the tire cage or mount was designed. How do you tackle that? Do you
that falls into communication.
Okay.
I don't want to interrupt you. You want to
do you just say like that's what it is, or have you taken stuff apart?
I never get far enough along the process to have to do critical error redos. And I think that falls into communication. Just like you have a phone, you have images, you know, you can send a dick pic to Australia right now, and it comes in seconds. So it's like you can always send pictures and communicate. And if you don't have an open line of communication with, like, some clients are weird, dude. Some clients, you might start building stuff and send them pictures, like with my exotic, and I never even got replies. He never told me that thing was nice once. Never said it looks good. And it's not that you need that kind of validation, but just when you're shooting the moon, hey man, I'm just going for it right now, especially when you're doing crazy shit. And then you're going for it and you don't get that, then you know, it makes you question your stuff, and then you also don't know if they're gonna be happy. But if you've been communicating and they're not communicating back, and you know that's an open line where that phone goes both ways, then it's on them. You know, if they don't say something and they've been getting updates the whole entire time, then that's what it is. Like, speak up, then there, then there, before it gets to there. And then all of a sudden, speak up. Because I spoke up, so deal with it. You know, and I don't think you have to be an asshole. That sounds like an asshole thing, but it's just very short and simple. You know, and I think that's why communication, like with Dan on his truck that has the crazy dash in the center console, if he is at a point now where he comes every single weekend, I meet Dan in the shop early in the morning, and he sits in the truck, and he goes over this and that, and I bill him for it, but you know, he goes over, well, this, I think this should be here, and I think, well, what do you want to do? Like, I'm literally going to the shop just for you right now, to sit here. And it's because originally he let me go on stuff, and he's so particular that even like the rear AC console I built for this center console, he got there and he's like, oh, man, he's like, this is why I should have been here. He took accountability. He said, I should have been here. I need to be more present with you to make sure, because he's like, I'm so invested in this thing. His dash is over 20 grand. Yeah, I'm so, and when you chalk that up, it's not, yeah, it sounds nuts, but think about the weeks it takes to build something like that. And then you charge an hourly, and I did that on prorate. So you gotta think, like, he took the responsibility and said, you know, I'm more particular, and I'm so invested in this project that let's make a new one. And he didn't make me eat the hours or anything. He paid for both, you know, because he knew that he was being more particular. I did what I needed to do, but he was not, you know, like, content with what it needed to be. So I think as long as you cover your bases, you know, always have open communication, you know, hey, and if there's, you know, that also piggybacks into like wanting to do something nicer or better for the project that you're working on, present it, you know, like same with Eric and Vivian. I had multiple instances, hey, we need to cut the pivot boxes off here. Hey, I'm gonna shorten this whole wheelie. So and I said, I didn't say I'm going to, I said it would be a really good idea right now. You know, it's gonna cost estimated X to do Y. I think we should do this. And most of the time it's okay, and they're like, cool, yeah, thanks for letting me know, let's do that. But I think it all revolves on communication. Just cover your bases. If they don't communicate back and you keep going because you're supposed to keep going, and you're not at a point where you can stop, then that's not your responsibility. You know, you do the work and you get paid the hours, and that's how it has to be. Unless it's on you and it's your fault. Anybody? Yep. It is.
Just had
Copy.
So like, your last video, the dude calling, doing a bunch of teamwork and stuff like that. How much do they see of, like, call it the front office, that creative work? Do they see to like see your vision all the way through, like, for the project that you do? Like, how much do they get in on the creative stuff and like seeing that and stuff like that?
Not a ton. You know, like, I think design is kind of like a language where if you grew up in a foreign household where, you know, say you moved into a foreign country that speaks a different language, and then you started to live around them and you only knew English, at some point you start to speak the other language just naturally. And I think that's how it is working in our shop, is that you start to understand the design language, but no matter what, it's me doing it. Like, and that's the thing, the disconnect is it's only gonna be so profitable because I gotta go and I gotta lay it all out. And it's the same with the tin work. I give them all the designs, and then I do the layout. You know, like, I have him stamp everything in, and then I'll come in and I'll lay it all out. And he has a very good understanding, the highest one in the shop, but it's still extremely intensive on my end. So they watch it and they see all of it, and I communicate it, you know, openly. If he's right here and I'm doing this stuff, I talk while I'm doing it. But it's, you know, it's farly more on my end than anything else. Uh-oh, I did doubles. Were you gonna say something? Oh, okay, cool.
This was a while ago. You had a building in your shop that was an IB Tundra.
Yes.
Whatever happened to
He
that?
ran out of money.
I was gonna say, because I don't think I ever saw
It's
that.
outside my shop under a cover with
Really?
a WD-40 on it. Yeah. He got into, and I just I will divulge what is okay to divulge, but he got into a lot of debt that I wasn't aware of, and that's another thing you deal with. Humans are humans, dude. And if you have a contract, that's the best thing to do. Like that's where I'm at. Because I don't want to fuck around with stuff like that. And I'm good. It doesn't have to be. It's okay for someone to go into debt and run out of money, but you need to figure out if that truck's gonna sit there. Someone needs to be paid for it, or it needs to be picked up. Like even if you're attached to it.
Yeah, 'cause
You
you're
know,
doing something special with it.
100%. Yeah. And he didn't it was a breakdown for him. He contacted me finally, and it was like this big buildup because he wasn't communicating. And it's like if he would have told me, we would have figured something out. So he goes, just this, man. I'm in this amount of debt, and this and that. Sorry, man. Do you want me to hold on to the truck for you, and we'll figure that out? That's the best thing I can do, but it's not gonna be inside my shop. So no, it sucks. It's for sale for $60,000.
Really?
Yep. All the shocks and everything. Tell your friends.
Tell your friends.
I'll finish it. There you go.
I wish, man. IB Tundra.
Yeah, it's a great truck. I mean, every once in a while I go peek under there. I'm like, oh my god,
Yeah.
why can't we finish it? It doesn't drive. There's a lot of floor missing and stuff. You guys got anything else? I'm here. Just answer. Cool.